Guns N' Noses.
Because the idea is like the song's got humiliation, so it's just him being him. Like it's embarrassing. I was fucking the band with Guns N' Noses.
Hey, hello and welcome to the podcast. Debrief with special guest Peter Hellier. We were just talking about the National, a band that we both love.
Yes.
For anyone, as my wife said when she read about them, this is years ago, she said, there's a band that's apparently perfect for people that love 80s music and is for slightly depressed dads. She goes, I think I found you perfect. And I'll always love the National.
The sad dads.
Sad dads. I've got the sad dad t-shirt or hoodie.
Yeah.
They're
owning it.
So...
Great band.
Yeah, they're kind of they're slightly alternative. And
they're probably arguably the biggest alternative band in the world.
Yeah.
Because R.E.M., Michael Stipe said that
they were a bit like R.E.M.
Yeah.
Different music, but similar status.
And lyrically kind of, similar-ish. And Michael Stipe said to Matt Berninger, the lead singer, bands should either have lots of hits or no hits. And they said we chose the latter. The biggest song would be a song called Blood Buzz, Oh Hi,
I Am the Blood Buzz.
Which,
what about the Alcott?
J loved.
The Alcott? That's a recent one with Taylor Swift.
The Alcott, yeah.
The Alcott.
Yeah, with Taylor Swift.
She sings on it because Aaron Dresden, the guitarist, produced her last 2 albums.
Yeah, Folklore and the other one they did. I think it has constantly worked with her since, but I
know because my daughter and wife are into Tay. We had to spend 6 hours on the phone and computer trying to get tickets, which they got eventually, which is bizarre. But
well done.
I know. I'm not going. I can't go to those things when there's genuine fans like teenage girls missing out. I just think no, it's wrong.
My sons, none of my sons are. They're not dismissive of Tay, but they're just not.
I think she speaks to teenage girls. She just centers in on them, and women too love Tay.
Yeah. My oldest son's he would be as excited as supporting you're getting Taylor Swift tickets is if he got King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard tickets.
King Gizzard, yeah, they're good.
That's his favourite.
Is it?
Yeah, he loves them. King
Gizzard.
They're a good band too.
I only know them through Paddy Dangerfield, the Geelong Football Club, said it was his favourite band.
And they're prolific. They released an album once a fortnight, it seems.
No,
and they're all very eclectic kind of styles of music they play.
Well, good on you for keeping up with the music. And, you could easily say, I've been listening to a lot of Dire Straits lately or whatever, but the National, at least the current.
I go back to the classics.
Oh, I do all the time.
We play everything. Do you have vinyl in the house?
Yeah.
So we play anything from the National to Julio Iglesias.
Oh, great.
We're a big Brothers, and then we'll play, Elton John.
I heard the Teskey Brothers on Triple M. It was like something from the 70s. It was really good. I'm like, this is like early Eagles or, Crosby, Stills and Nash. It's very authentic. I can see what they're going for, the Teskey Brothers. Steiner. They're from a Steiner.
It's a Creedence.
It's Creedence. Yeah, you're right. They're from a Steiner school. My brother works at that school as a tech.
I mean, there's no surprises there. I don't think, is there?
There's no... Anyway, here we are. Going to Garfield.
For some lasagna.
Yay! Someone did that joke.
I'm sure. I'm surprised if somebody doesn't do it each week.
Someone does that joke every time we go out here. And you've been here before. You did the second one, I reckon, last year.
Yeah, you told me it was basically, where'd you tell me?
Near Pakenham.
Near Pakenham. And
what did you say when you got out of the
project? Yeah. And I got on stage and I told him you told me it was Pakenham, and then you didn't tell me to keep driving for another half hour. And then I might hit Garfield. It's
when you got out of the car, you yelled across the road, "This is nowhere near fucking Pakenham." That's why I have said to comics to get them to do the gig. It's near Pakenham. And then the publican's like, and nearly everyone complains that it's too far. He goes, "Why do they complain?" I said, "Mate, you live out here. They're all living in the city or somewhere,
But I mean, I'm coming back out, which means It was a great gig.
It is
really fun.
It's good, and it's relatively early actually too. And there's only me, Sonia Diorio, and you. So
Sonia's great.
Yeah, we love her. She's been on this podcast. And so since I've seen you last, I know I've seen you at gigs, but you've been in the jungle.
Yes.
So how was I didn't ask you how was Dicko, because I used to work with him.
Of course.
I got on well with Dicko.
We probably spoke.
Yeah.
He's great. I really enjoyed. We were like two of the older states.
Oh, he's older than
I think
you.
I was the fourth.
Yeah.
The fourth oldest. So you had, I think, Deb and Dicko and Liz, Alice, and then Deb Lawrence.
Was Carrie Ann Kennelly there?
Not including Carrie Ann. She was in there briefly.
Was she an intruder or no? They have intruders?
Not an intruder, but she came in. It's funny, when I think back at it, it's like, for me, she came in four or so days in. I think she came in the second episode, but the second day we're in there. And then things went a bit pear-shaped.
How long did she last?
Oh, she was out within 2 days, I think.
Wow.
I think, to be honest...
Is it how they designed it, you reckon?
No,
or?
I don't think... I don't know what they thought might happen. I'm not sure if they got an inkling. I haven't spoken to anyone about that. But and Carrie Ann is an absolute legend, and nothing that happened in that jungle dismisses or takes any of that away. She's a Hall of Famer. But my impression was, well, I know for a fact she'd only seen two episodes, and I'm not sure if she watched the whole episode, all the episodes. Right. And I think she went in perhaps not knowing the extent of what could happen.
Yeah, right.
So I think she possibly thought she might just sit around a campfire telling showbiz stories, which I would have been completely up for.
Yeah. Did they make her do challenges? Yeah, she had to eat something.
Yeah,
didn't
she was basically entered in there. She was put into a tank full of snakes.
Oh,
and if that wasn't bad enough, they threw a baby crocodile at her head. And that's when I think when the crocodile landed on her head, she thought, nah, this is not for me. And basically decided, came back to camp, was proud enough that she got through it, but was also, I'm not doing anything else like that again.
Yeah.
So we had said to her, well, if you're not going to do those things, you need to say, I'm a celebrity, get me out.
Yeah.
Get out, because if you get, voted into a challenge. And she was being a bit sheepish about it, whether she would do that or not. And I really like Carrie. I still get butterflies when I'm speaking to Carrie Ann because she's such a legend.
Yeah.
Be sick from school and watch Midday. And
Carrie Ann.
Into Days of Our Lives, and
Man, I went on Carrie Ann.
Did you? Did you stand up?
No, I did stand up on Midday with not Ray Martin. Darren Hinch hosted it for 2 years in the 90s.
Yeah, right.
But no, I didn't do. I got interviewed about my book, one of my books, and then Steve Bracks, the Victorian Premier, resigned as I was on air, so they cut away to the newsroom because Braxy had resigned. Because if you remember, Steve Bracks resigned quite quickly and suddenly. Anyway.
Yeah, right.
But no, then I did a panel show with her, and she wanted to do a dirty joke, but she wanted me to do the punchline. And so she's like, I don't, it's not good for my image. You do the, and I remember the punchline was, yeah, because it's close to the entrance, which is like a joke about Gosford, about the entrance being your bum or whatever. And I said, and she did the setup, and then she just looked at me and I went, yeah, because it's close to the entrance. And she's like patting me on the back. You do the punchline. It's a bit rude. You do it. I'm like, all right. Funny. And so then she went, yeah, right.
Yeah, well, what Australia saw, and what was her saying, I don't want to do any more challenges. And what did Australia do? They said, no, you're going to do more challenges.
Oh, yeah,
so
right.
they kept on voting her back in to the point where it was the highest amount of votes anyone's ever received to do a challenge.
Fantastic.
So she had to do this challenge where they had to eat testicles.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes, right.
And it kind of. And going into this, there had been a little bit of tension between her and Domenica from Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
Because Carrie Ann was allowed to bring makeup in, and we were going to have a Q&A with Carrie Ann, and Dom wanted to ask. Me and Dicko had spoken about, because Carrie Ann didn't know many people in the jungle.
She know you and Dicko.
Like even some that you thought she might know, she didn't know. And
she wouldn't know the AFL footballers.
No.
Being a New South Wales person.
And she certainly didn't know some of the younger reality stars. And a lot
did you know them all?
A lot of them didn't know her.
I wouldn't have known her. I wouldn't have known some of those reality people.
No, I knew kind of vague. I knew them vaguely.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like I thought I'd seen, Dom, and I heard the name Dom in connection with Married at First Sight, which I've never seen. And I think I'm sure I'd seen Nathan. I'd seen maybe bits of Geordie Shore. Aisha I'd seen because we watched Below Deck, but I'd seen more of Hannah's episodes than hers.
Oh yeah, right.
So I kind of had an idea, but yeah. So they had their testicles, and there's already things were already testy before that went in there, Dave, and it basically Carrie Ann refused to eat another one.
Yeah.
Or one at all. And Dom was trying to get her to try. She had tried, but kind of couldn't quite go through with it. But then she was going to try again and said, "Come on, let's try together. Let's go through together."
Were they buffalo testicles? Or?
They were all different kinds. One of them was like buffalo's testicles, but with mice feet in them.
Oh,
yeah, which Dicko ate. And so and then Dom said the infamous line, "What are you even doing here, bro?" And then called her bro, yeah. And then
she wouldn't like that.
No, and then called her
she called the C word.
C-bomb. Yeah, C-bomb. So then it all went up in flames, and Carrie Ann was basically said, "I'm leaving," and came back to camp. I think she wasn't even going to come back to camp. I think she was like, "I'm out."
Yeah.
And the abusers had to take her aside and say, "You need to go back to camp, and we need to get that. We need a vision of you leaving, and we need you to talk to the other campmates who, know nothing about this.
Yeah,
about what's going on." So she came back and she was in tears, which is not initially. She just explained that she was leaving, and then she said, Domenica called her the C-bomb, which she's never been called before, which I find a little bit hard to believe. and not because I'm not saying Carrie Ann is that
generation,
but she worked at Channel 9 in the 80s. They used to answer the phone by saying, "Channel 9, we're still the one. What do you want, cunt?" Like, that's what they used to say. So, but I get what she's saying, and we were a bit like, well, we have an issue going on here. We need to sort this out. And then, to be honest, Dom, she left, and it was not easy to see anyone upset. And
Dom left too.
No, Carrie Ann, and then Dom came back. They explained the story, and then Domenica kind of did say, "I don't regret. I regret my calling her that, and my the words I chose. I don't regret how I felt," which is fair enough. That's fair enough. So it was okay. You've done that. We can move on.
And how far did you get in terms of the...
I went to 26 nights, which was... I went out on the Tuesday before the final show, which was on the Sunday.
Oh, wow. So who was left after you?
There was Adam Cooney and Nathan. They came out on the Thursday. Woody from Will and Woody came out on the Wednesday. And then there were three who went through to the Sunday, because there's no show on Friday, Saturday. Which was eventual winner, Queen of the Jungle, Liz Ellis. Superstar
Liz,
Aisha from Below Deck, who's an absolute gun, and Harry Garside, champion Olympic boxer.
Oh, thank God you said that, because I was thinking, who's Harry Garside?
Harry has gotten the...
Is he Australian?
Australian, and won an Olympic bronze medal, which is the highest boxing medal ever.
Oh wow!
Ever gotten by an Aussie.
It's always impressive. I did this gig on a boat for a jeweler. And there was a woman, only because she went to school with this jeweler, and I said, "So what are you doing?" She goes, "Oh, I read the sports on the Gold Coast." I'm like, "Oh yeah." She goes, "I also won a gold medal." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
She won a gold medal. I said, "You know what? When you get up, I'd mention that.
Yeah, it's because we're so
won a gold medal.
It's so intense around the Olympics, and then so much stuff happens now. Like, you know what it's like when you're even trying to let people know you're doing a show. The competition it's on for our attention.
Yeah, it's true.
From not just other sporting codes and other comedy shows and from streaming services and everything. So it's hard to. I kind of make it a point now in my shows to thank people for coming because there's no reason, you know.
It's true. No, wow. And so, because I've had other people on this podcast like Joel Creasy and someone else. Oh, Akmal, who of course thought
he hated it.
Yeah, he hated it.
Yeah,
and he said, "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here!" Like within 20 minutes of landing, and he said, literally, a Channel 10 executive came out of the jungle and said, "You can't leave, mate. You're not going to get paid."
Yeah,
but he, I remember watching it. He just looked depressed, and he's.
Well, I think.
But you enjoy. Peter O'Sall liked it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think if you go in thinking, putting too much pressure on yourself, going, I'm the comedian, I need to be funny all the time, there's no chance of getting through it. And I think Akmal may have been, knowing Akmal, you know, he's off switch, doesn't, you know.
Oh, I just think he wasn't prepared.
And it was the earlier days of the show, so maybe there's been more experiences.
Oh, Chrissy Swan and Joel were in there for ages too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
And
as much as because Pricey was in there as well, Steve Price.
Yeah.
And he always, we bag him on the project how much he bangs on about being in the jungle. But as much as he would say he's been in there, he was in the jungle for 43 nights.
What?
I completely forgot when I was in the jungle. So when I kind of came out and I saw...
He was with Naz, wasn't he? He was Naz.
Yeah, Naz. Yeah. Dane Swan. I couldn't... Because, to be honest, I was fine to come out at 26 nights and I could have easily stayed there till the final Sunday. If
but you're over the hump by then.
Yes, exactly.
It's like 5 more nights or something.
The hardest point, and they say to you, in about between 5 and 7 or so days, and they said it might happen. Everyone's different. It might happen early. It might happen later. Because you do a whole psych test. There's a psych is available to you throughout the whole thing. I never went and saw them, but they did say before we went in, it would be around the week-ish kind of mark. You may have a bit of a down moment,
of course.
And there was one night where I felt a bit. It was actually after I did an Easter challenge where I was dressed up as a chicken and had to catch eggs. It was like a fun challenge as opposed to, which is great to do because you didn't have a baby crocodile thrown at your head. But I got back after that and we didn't score as well as we would have hoped, and it kind of knocked me around a little bit. I was a bit kind of there's a bit of melancholy. It was a one time, and then it lasted probably a few hours.
Yeah.
And then I kind of woke up in the morning and I went, and I was a bit kind of, oh, this is weird. And then I woke up in the morning and I thought, oh, shit, it's like day 7,
Yeah.
They said this would happen, and I actually felt fine after that.
Did you lose weight?
Lost 8 kilos.
Oh, fantastic.
Put 12 of them back on.
Yeah. I've heard you say that in your stand-up.
Yeah.
But Peter O'Sall got a 6-pack because they worked out in there.
Well, we worked out as well, but
him and the boxer, Danny
Green.
Danny Green, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why it was great having Harry Garside in there. You could actually, we were doing boxing and it was.
Any cooks in there or?
Yeah, we had Anna, who's a pastry chef from MasterChef.
Right.
Didn't have a lot of pastry in there, but she was great. She got knocked out pretty early. Everyone's in there for a week, pretty much.
Yeah,
and then you start getting knocked out, and she got knocked. In fact, the first night, actually, her and Bianca from Yokai footy show, Indigenous footy show, AFL footy show, Bianca Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
So they both got knocked out in the first day. So that took us by surprise a little bit. And then, people stepped in to cook. Dicko loved cooking.
Yeah,
Dom
he used to
loved
cook.
cooking.
I remember going to his house for dinner back in the day, and he was a great cook, Dicko.
Yeah. Would you do it, though? Would you?
I was talking to you at the last gig. They asked about me very early years ago, but like I was telling, my son was starting high school, who's now at uni, like similar age to your kids. So I couldn't do it that year, you know what I mean? And then my wife's like, no way, you know. But more, as the kids get older, I could do it, yeah. But I mean, I've been asked to do, not many of those shows, but like years ago, Dancing with the Stars inquired about me. But because I did radio with Kate when she was doing Dancing with the Stars, and also Dicko when he did Dancing with the Stars, it's so fucking full on.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a boot camp. You've got to train every day.
Yeah.
And I just figure dancing's not the reason I got into entertainment.
No, and I'm a bit the same.
Sure, they would have asked you.
I have been asked to do Dancing with the Stars, and my feeling is, I think at the time I was too busy. I was too busy. And it was when it was on Channel 10. Actually, I was asked when it was on 7 as well, earlier. But my feeling with me doing Dancing with the Stars is it'd be funny for half a song.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like, get this fat fucker off.
Yeah, same here.
And also, I'd be the first contestant with a visible erection on the online. I'll have to do the tango or something in the first. I'd be like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Embarrass my wife.
Was that the first reality show you've done?
Yeah. My only other experience was when I was doing Rove Live. I went into the Big Brother house as a guest, like more so as a promotion.
Yeah, of course.
Stayed a night in the Big Brother house. That's when Warwick Kappa got kicked out.
The Wiz.
Yeah, I think he flashed.
Yeah, that'd be right.
I did say to him, I feel a bit guilty because I said to him when I got in there, I said, mate, you got to stir it up a bit, you know, mate. You're here to stir it up. Get involved.
Yeah, you're right, mate.
Next day, mate, I should. Next day, he flashes somebody, I think, for memory or something like that.
I got asked to be in Celebrity Splash.
Oh, yeah.
The diving show.
Yeah.
Which I just knew they wanted a fat guy in their Speedos, you know what I mean? And they got Adam Richards, and he reckons his head still hurts from it because he got concussion.
Oh, right.
So, jumping into because they're really high diving.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about, injury and stuff.
I do a bit in my stand-up from years ago. In fact, I just put it online about Channel 9 ringing me and asking me they're doing a celebrity weight loss show, and my response was...
That's, I remember that.
My response was, I'm not looking at hosting anything at the moment.
And they go, no, you're not.
We want you to be a contestant, you fat fucker.
I've got a routine about Celebrity Fat Camp where they asked me to go, which was a Channel 9 show, which went to air.
Probably the same show.
No, your one was Excess Baggage.
Excess Baggage, that's what it was,
yes. Which they didn't ask me about, but like the guy from Beaconsfield was on it. One of the big boys from Beaconsfield was on it.
Yeah. Because obviously Biggest Loser was a massive show at this time, and everyone was just trying to go, what else can we do in that area?
Also got asked to be on Get Thin, Get Fat. Which is, as the woman said, I remember speaking to the woman at Channel 9. She goes, and I was doing a show in Perth, sharing a venue with Hannah Gadsby, and I came downstairs and I said, it's just been asked to be on a TV show. And she goes, what's it called? I said, it's called Get Thin, Get Fat, where they put a really fat person in a house with a really thin person, and the fat person's got to eat the thin person's food, and the thin person's got to eat the fat person's food. And I said to the woman, I'd love that. I love fat people's food. And she had to say, you're the fat person? And I remember Hannah Gadsby going, I wouldn't do that if I was you. That sounds terrible. I'm like, yeah, voice of reason.
Well, also some early Hannah Gadsby understanding that, self-deprecation is not always the golden ticket,
Yeah. I reckon, because I cook all the time, Celebrity MasterChef is the only one that really appeals to me. But
I should definitely do that.
But, Chrissy Swan, who is a much better cook than me, and she cooks all the time, and she really knows her shit, she got kicked out on the first night.
Yeah.
Which is just, I don't know. But anyway.
They inquired about me, and I did say that I've got no real cooking. I don't really cook that much, and they were still
I'd be
happy to continue to have a conversation.
Dilrup couldn't cook, and he just learned how to cook.
Yeah. I think which might get you through a couple of episodes if you happen to get the right dishes, or I don't really know how it works, but...
Nick Rewald won.
I like the idea of doing it. I'm just not sure if I'm value adding. But no, it was a pretty good first experience for a reality. I'm not looking to do any more. Like, it'll be a case by case scenario, and I'll say no to 95% of them, I'm sure. But there might be one that appeals, or that I might do again. And
well, Ross Noble did Celebrity Apprentice and was funny on that.
Yeah, well, it's funny because me and Ross are kind of working on something together, and we're having a meeting about it, and I said, listen, I got to tell you something, and you can't tell anyone, but he was actually one of the first people I told. I said, I'm doing,
the jungle.
So one, because we were working together, I was giving him a heads up, but also because he had done a reality show, I thought he might have some
insight.
And he did, and it was really good, so yeah, that was good. And yeah, it's funny because when I got back, he goes, mate, I watched every episode, and it was like talking in depth about
he would
things about it,
minutiae.
Yeah, it's kind of weird who watched it. I got a message from Jim Jeffries just saying, mate, great stuff in the jungle.
Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, it was
Fuck.
Yes, so
there you go, big names.
Kind of weird. But
mate, there'll be recognition tonight in Garfield from the jungle for sure. That's
well, I've got a little bit of gear I do about the jungle.
I love it.
Which has been fun, and it was one of those weird things, as you can imagine. I was kind of halfway through the tour when I got back, and then continued the tour, and I was like, okay, do I wait for the next show to do jungle gear? It feels a bit weird that I've just returned and I've got nothing to say about it. So
yeah, you should talk about it.
So I've spoken about it, and who knows if next year we'll have more stuff on it, or just
Great
I haven't actually watched it back.
No, well, you don't have to.
Well, yes and no.
It'd be good to see what they kept in, though.
Well, exactly. Yeah. In case there's more material in there that I've forgotten about.
True.
So I probably will eventually.
Well, we're on the road to Garfield, and we'll come back after the gig and we'll let you know how it went. It's going to be glorious triumph.
It's a nice room. So how many people in the room?
It's between 70 and 100 normally.
Yeah, and it was pretty packed last time.
It was packed.
I did it.
And they really appreciate it. They love an early night out here, which is good.
Didn't you say that the
the
zine did it?
Well, one time we had to... Normally we just do 2 brackets. One time the zine had to do something. You could only get there at 9:30. And so we had 3 brackets, and people were going home after the second break.
Because they had to milk their cows, or they had to go...
Yeah, the guy said, I've got to go milk... I've got to go for the cows tomorrow.
Get up in the morning.
Then this... Oh, we missed the turn off. Then this guy saw Nazine as he was leaving. Oh, no, he's looking forward to seeing you, but I've got to go home. I've got to get up early. It's like, oh, God. Anyway, all right, well, keep listening. Peter Hellier's on the debrief. We are back on the debrief with Peter Hellier after a triumph at the Garfield Hotel, wasn't it, Pete?
It was. Another one. For some reason, I was a bit concerned early, like even before you hit the stage, because there was no pre-show music.
There wasn't. No, you're right.
Which these little things you think about, and you just walked on stage.
I started clapping myself.
Yeah, there was a bit of like, it was a bit,
yeah. It looked very casual, actually.
It was very casual. Which is part of the charm, and you did a great job to get them with your great audience work and some
they were
nice
great,
gear and
Ryland
wearing shorts,
on a very cold night.
Very cold night.
As his friend, I don't know if it was his girlfriend who that woman kept speaking for him. It was Ryan, but his mum chucked in an L. Made me laugh. Ryland.
Well, funnily enough, to bring this full circle, great national song.
Oh, yes.
Ryland.
Off what album's that?
I'm Easy to Find.
Yeah.
The great live tracks. Then we had Peter Hitchener, celebrity.
There was a guy,
Channel 9.
He looked like Peter Hitchener, yeah.
Peter Hitchener, probably 20 years younger.
Yeah, the newsreader. He had a similar shaped head.
He could have been like a cross between Peter Hitchener and Christopher Nolan.
Yes, right. I never think about it beforehand, but when you do a really shit lookalike, that always goes well. Like I've never said Peter Hitchener before. I've said George Clooney when there's a great, there's the George Clooney of Garfield over there. Look at this bloke, But no, it was good.
It was a fun one.
Fun gig. I like the way you have all popular culture references in. Like you talked about shrinking the Twisties wrapper in the oven.
Yes.
Which I've tried to explain to my kids, because of course it doesn't work anymore because the packets are made of something different to what we had. But it was a real landmark of the 80s and 90s, that activity. Yeah.
And it's just one of those little add-ons
it's funny.
Within a routine.
Yeah.
It's not, the routine's not based around that.
No.
But it's certainly, it's just a nice... I talk about chips and the the avalanche of flavors that we have now, and it's one of those jokes that came up because I was kind of when you kind of go over routines you've been doing for a while, and you think, how are there more jokes I can get out of this?
Oh, definitely.
And that was the one that came out of that.
And your observation about light and tangy, because light and tangy was like the fifth flavour. It was the new...
It felt like... I'm not sure if it's completely true,
I reckon.
but it feels like that, and it certainly gets that reaction. I
reckon. I can't remember. I remember the four main flavours. Chicken, as you say, chicken, salt, vinegar, plain, barbecue. And then I reckon light and tangy turned up in the late 80s, early 90s, maybe.
Yeah. And my joke is that light and tangy's not a flavour, it's a review, which I think is...
Yeah, it's funny.
Actually, I thought that in the middle of the night. It's one of those my 3 a.m. kind of note-taking things.
Because it's sort of like barbecue with tomato sauce.
Well, it's funny, because my wife said to me the other night, we were talking about chip flavours, and...
You've been married a while, so...
We've been married... Well, Poe's got this new...
chip... They've got not bad,
Red
actually.
Rock. And she sent me some flavours.
Oh.
And we're talking about the Malaysian beef rendang that she's done,
the rendang.
and it actually tastes we actually were saying it tastes as close to a meal that it's purporting to be on the packet that I've ever tasted before. And my wife completely agreed. She's like, "Yeah, I was about to say the same thing," because my wife was saying before we opened it up, they said all these new flavors, they all taste like barbecue.
That's true. Actually,
which I actually thought I should actually put that into that routine.
Oh man, yeah. I mean,
they try all these different pork belly and chicken shallots, and in the end, it's just barbecue.
The barbecue. Well, yeah, it is interesting that whole chip flavour thing. Because I do the Junkies podcast, and we do this blind test where we find weird flavours, and some of the flavours we've found. Oh, because if you go into Asian supermarket, it's a whole different world. Like they got cucumber, they got lime, they got grilled duck, they got everything going on.
Yeah,
but you're right. They either taste like cheese, or they taste like barbecue. That's another one that came quite quickly. Was cheese and onion? Actually, that was
I reckon. I got a feeling cheese and onion may have predated light and tangy.
Yeah.
If anyone knows officially, please
send a message via social media.
I got a feeling. My memory might be that cheese and onion was the fifth flavour,
possibly. It's like being the fifth Beatle, though. It's like,
it's the Peter Best of chips.
Or the Stu Sutcliffe, the one who got the stroke and died.
Oh, okay.
I won't bring that up. But that's for one of those flavours that came and went. Like Blueberry Big M, that came and went pretty quickly. No one wanted to drink blue milk, apparently. So it came and went. Problem with Big M, though, it wasn't national. It was mainly Victorian.
No, it's one of those things you do learn as you start
doing the country
comedy around. That yes, there's certain things. I mean, you go to Adelaide and it's not Big M. It's Farmers Union Iced Coffee.
Union, yes. Yeah. They love their bloody flavoured milk
They are the flavoured milk capital of the world. Adelaide, they consume more of it, I think, per capita than anywhere else in the world.
You see, young people walking around with 2 litre, chocolate milk or ice coffee. And I said to the taxi driver, "Have they got liquor in it?" He goes, "No, they love it, mate."
Yeah, good on them.
Good on them. Why not? So what have you got coming up next? You've done Taskmaster. But that's broadcast.
Yeah, done Taskmaster, which will be Taskmaster Australia, which will be on air in the first quarter of next year, I believe.
Exciting. And you already filmed that?
Yes.
Oh, that's exciting. Was that fun? Or?
Lots of fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. It was great to just do something that was silly and ridiculous and was all about comic instincts and just being in the moment. Such a good
idea.
It's a great one of those. It's almost like Gogglebox level of simple idea executed well. That you kind of think, I'm not sure how that works, but it really does. And the two Toms, Gleeson and Cashman, do a great job as the
because the Cashman role is hard because in England it's the guy who invented it, isn't it?
Yes,
that guy. Right. I don't remember his name.
It's probably the harder role.
Yeah,
because he's there at all the tasks, and Cashman does a great job. We had Aaron Chan, Reese Nicholson, Conchetta.
Conchetta, yeah,
Conchetta and Mel Buttle.
The amazing
Mel Buttle. So it's really fun. And I hadn't,
Do you have to go away for that, or is it in Sydney or somewhere? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much I love you talking about, but you do film some of the tasks abroad.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay,
not far abroad.
No, but there's some overseas stuff.
Right. Our neighbours, basically.
Sure, okay, right. But is it Sydney based?
And then no, it's then shot. The studio is in Melbourne.
Oh well, that's good.
It was in Sydney the first year,
I thought so.
and Melbourne the second year. I'm not sure why. The reasons were great production company, great experience, loved it. Look forward to it going to air, and such a fervent following, like people.
Oh, they love it.
Because I did, I took part. I won't say how, in an episode recently. Thank God You're Here.
Yeah.
Which,
you could have either been a contestant or a judge, but we will never know. Well, we will know when we see it on air.
Maybe put this out after it goes to air. Yeah. But I was a judge, and it that is very similar in that it has garnered this audience that is very kind of like so into it.
Yeah.
And like a big audience. So, sometimes you rock up to do TV shows, panel shows, or whatever it might be.
And they got those audiences.
And have you been paying attention is very similar as well.
Oh, yeah.
They got a great audience ready and waiting. But sometimes you rock up to, shows been going on for a while, and like sometimes you get a great audience, sometimes you don't.
People get up and go to the toilet.
But it's a really fun show.
Did you do Thank God You're Here when it was on years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I did 2 episodes.
Yeah, right. What were your scenarios? I'm always interested.
It's so weird because I've almost forgotten. One was like a astronaut type thing.
Oh, that's all right.
And one was a countdown-y type show, 70s style show.
Great.
I have very little memory of it. It's such a bizarre experience. I did one with Rebel Wilson. One episode.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Before she
took off.
Dominated the world.
Wow.
But, I reckon I did well. I think there are some people who smashed it, like the ones who stand out for me, Josh Lawson, Hamish, Angus Sampson. I think Rebel was. I'm not sure how many Rebel did. She may have only done the 1 or 2, but
Julie Zamiro. Yeah.
And those are the ones from the first series, the first seasons of it who smashed it, and I did well. I reckon you just want
to do well. 'Cause I reckon you see people struggling sometimes, and you're like, oh my god, it looks harrowing. I've never done it.
It's one of the scariest things I've done.
Oh fuck.
Comedy-wise.
I was talking to someone else who did it, no names revealed, but he said he was shitting himself.
Oh, mate, everyone. I don't care who you are. Like, you might get somebody. I think there are some personalities that plays well for.
Of course. Because you can just stick to that persona.
Yeah, like Aaron Chan I've seen 2 of his, and he's done really well. And there's just something about Aaron and his comedy stylings that it works. Because even if he doesn't nail the line, there's something.
Oh, it's like a naivety kind of thing that people like.
But it's great to have it back.
Yeah, the guy I was talking to said he saw all the costumes. He's like, "Oh God, I hope I'm in the night suit." But he didn't get. He got the other costume. You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, I'm not wearing that. I'm wearing this costume." Like, oh no. Yeah. Anyway, it's a great show. What a great idea. I'm glad they brought it back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good when they bring shows because sometimes shows. There's a whole new generation. My daughter, who's a teenager, was watching, going, "This is really funny." Like we watched Utopia. We watched the whole series of Utopia. It was really good. And then my daughter's like, "Why aren't you on this show, Dad?" I said, "Well, let's go back to series 1, where I was on that show."
I was going to say, you're on that show. You've been on
I did. No,
well.
I was on Fist, but I was on both small parts. But still, I was on it. That's right. But isn't it funny? Like regular people go, "What? Are you on? Thank God You're Here." I'm like, "Nah." "Oh, you should get on." "Oh, okay, no worries." Like, there's not a phone number you can ring and go, is that the TV shows? Yeah, I wouldn't mind going on that show. Thank you.
These are the ones I choose.
Yeah. I'll get my diary out. I said, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
you've got to wait to be asked, and there's a lot of factors involved. There's a lot of factors.
Yeah.
The main one being I'm an old white guy, and there's a lot of us around. So, anyway, it's fun show. More of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
More of it. Now, let's ask the questions I ask everyone. Well, what went well tonight and why in your gig? Or the whole gig? What does it matter?
I think, I was doing material that I've been doing on my tour, Deconstructed Origami. Final show happening in Hobart, September 2.
Come on, get along, Hobart people.
Come along.
Where are you doing there? The Royal Theatre or West
the
Point?
Casino.
Yeah, I've heard that's good though.
Yeah.
Someone did it and said it was... Because I remember doing it years ago, but they've renovated it.
Yeah, no, I look forward to it. Hopefully we can have a nice night finishing that tour off. I've just been trying to work out... I'm starting to, when I do just gigs, work out what the next show might look like.
Oh, okay.
And I'll start doing newer material and working it in.
Right.
But what I often try to do is just work out how... like starting with new material, like as opposed to...
Oh, yeah, the no fucks thing at the start.
Yeah, so I was doing a thing about
laugh.
Giving zero fucks and giving examples of
It's like pathetic rebelling.
Yeah.
It's like posting a letter without a stamp. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like,
yes. Going into Coles with the Woolworths bag.
But if you post a letter without a stamp, Nana probably has to pay at the other end.
That's...
No postage.
Well, my Nana's dead.
My Nana's dead too, but, anyway.
So yours...
Mine is well and truly dead.
So that, I was happy... with that.
So what didn't go well?
It was a pretty fun gig, I've got to say.
Yeah. I didn't hear many.
There was one bit. There was a woman chatting on the right hand side.
That's Ryland.
Ryland's girlfriend, and
they were talking about the Bible because you were talking about the Bible.
No, I wasn't talking about the Bible then. I was talking about something else, and they did kind of. It was a little distracting.
Yeah.
And it kind of did. I feel like take because what people don't realise.
Yeah, because then you started a different routine.
Real comedy fans will probably know this, particularly if they listen to this podcast. But but like all it takes is a little distraction to take 50% away, or sometimes 80% away from the laugh that you might usually expect. Yeah. And there was just a bit of chatter to the right of me.
Oh, well.
And it's not a big room. We're talking like 80 people. Yeah. And so then I had to kind of address it to make sure that we keep chatting. And it was chatter. It wasn't heckling. It was chatter. And I said, what's going on here? And they said, there's a biblical conversation going on. So I investigated that. And what it was that Ryland didn't bring back a beer for his lady, which the crowd reacted to that, which was nice.
Oh, that's when they went, ooh.
Yeah, and then I said to the bartender, can we bring and I found out she was drinking vodka, can we bring a vodka for the young lady? And Ryland put on Ryland's tab, they could laugh.
That was funny.
And who else wants to drink on Ryland's tab? They all cheered.
That was funny.
And then I went into some biblical gear that I have about Jesus going to TAFE and
He's funny. Teenage
Jesus. Where is he? It's a genuine question I have.
Yeah.
Apparently there is one reference to a teenage Jesus in the Bible.
Really?
Yeah, in a marketplace somewhere. Like, I kind of Googled it because it's a routine I've been doing for years.
He'd have the hair and stuff and the...
totally hipster.
Fuck off, God. Dad. Well, you think you know everything just because you're God, yeah?
He gave you the right to play... Oh.
Yeah, play... Yeah. God probably invented Jesus Christ as a swear word because he's fucking so annoyed him.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Stop using my name in vain.
Yeah. I think we've already mentioned about organisational hazards getting in the way. I think the lack of music is something we need to address.
Yeah.
The great Garfield.
The microphone was all right. I right at the end, I did...
Oh, that mic stand's weird.
The mic stand's a bit weird. I kind of like... Clip. Also, because I had a glass of red wine on stage with me, and there was nowhere to put it, so I was putting it on the ground, which I don't love having to bend over to pick up a drink on stage as a look. I'd rather have like a if it's my gig, I have a table or a stool or something there to put it somewhere. So I'll say that as well.
You need a stool if you have got a drink.
Just a little something. I thought I didn't mention it earlier because I did look at the stage and I thought there's a speaker there, and then as I walked up to the stage, I realised it was kind of a curved.
Yeah, it was weird.
Top, so I couldn't plan it.
People have asked for a stool before. Don't worry. So
okay, so I'm not being precious about it.
No. And how can we do better next time? Get a stool.
Get a stool. Play some pre-show music. Have some pre-show music going. I love pre-show music. It's one of my favourite things about.
Oh, you choose the music?
I'm very particular about those songs, and sometimes there's themes that nobody will ever get but me. You know, like there's like they're not callbacks, they're call forwards. The routines I might do.
I always play a song at the end that I've referenced in the show, whether it's I used to do a routine about Human League lyrics and play a bit of Human League or whatever.
Yes. I love doing that as well. I used to
go, oh yeah.
Well, my deconstructed origami, the last 10 or so minutes is about me dying on Twitter and being pronounced dead. So I finished with Pearl Jam's Alive.
Oh, great!
I did one routine years ago in a show called One Hot Mess, where one of the big routines in it was about a netball team, like the idea of women. Like saying, you're happy to fill in for a netball team, and then being, like hiding from the person who's trying to organise it. And the team was the Hollaback Girls, and
great. So you played the Hollaback Girls.
Hollaback Girls was out,
Fantastic.
Which is a nice little touch.
You never sang on stage? You never sang a song or anything on stage?
I used to actually sing. I'd forgotten about this. I used to sing, finish shows by singing the theme song to the Golden Girls.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing you and Rove at the Festival Club. I think it was the Festival Club, singing all these themes of 90s TV shows.
Like Growing Pains, Family Ties, and Golden Girls. Yeah.
I remember that.
Great songs.
I remember the bit where you used to read out a thing, and then it was about someone getting attacked in a cave by a spider, and there was no... like a celebrity getting attacked by a spider in a cave. And you said, there's no punchline. I just wanted to remind you that good shit still happens in the world.
Oh,
do you remember that routine?
When you were saying about that happening, I was like,
was it Danny?
No, I have no idea, but no.
Danny Minogue or someone?
Yeah, fucking might have been. Which I love Danny Minogue.
Yeah, but this was years ago. You wouldn't have met Danny at that stage.
No, but nothing's ever malicious.
It was some celebrity.
Yeah, I do remember that punchline. Yeah, good things still happen in the world.
Yeah, good things. It made me laugh.
It's so nice when somebody comes up to you or drives you back home from a gig and reminds you of a routine you've almost completely forgotten, but it's stayed in their memory. Jeff Green, I did a gig with Jeff Green last week, and he said,
bloody hell, Pete.
And he said,
what did Jeff Green say to you?
He said, are you doing cloth tonight? And I was like, oh, no, I haven't done that for...
Which routine's that?
It's a routine I do about... I don't know what a cloth is, and because my wife...
get a cloth.
Yeah, go get a cloth. And my wife says, like, it was when my kids were young, and they vomited in the bedroom. My wife said, go get a cloth, and I come back with a sponge, and then I come back with...
Oh, yeah. It is a weird term, you're right. Get a cloth.
Well, there's so many things under the sink that could be a cloth.
Are you doing cloth tonight, Pete?
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to do it, I'll do it. I love a bit of cloth material. I don't think there's many cloth material out there.
Not enough.
I haven't heard anyone else touch the
But I have been enjoying, I'm not sure if you go through these stages, I've been enjoying like bring old back. Some old back. And I think as comedians, you throw it out. I think it's important to always generate new, which I think I do a fair bit.
You do.
You do. But it's just good to have, I
was reading I was going through my old computer, and I had like jokes on there from when the kids were little. Because, when they're kinder and prep.
Yeah.
Got all these routine and jokes, and then you forget them all because they're all at school or uni now. So you're like,
yeah, but just because your kids are grown up doesn't mean you're not playing that.
Exactly. So I did do a junior footy club the other day, and I did some of the jokes. Like, true story. My son was a kinder, and the teacher said, "And what do you want to do when you grow up?" He goes, "I want to sit on the couch, eat potato chips and watch TV." And the woman goes, "That's not a job." And he goes, "Well, that's what my dad does." It's a funny joke.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm bringing that back.
You should never retire that.
No, I should remember that.
It was a Jim Allen. I think Jim Allen does a joke about, like comedians throwing out jokes and like you kind of retire jokes because, but it'd be like going to see, nobody goes to
U2
to see, and they sing Sunday Bloody Sunday, and they're like, oh, I bloody heard this.
Yeah. Get the new stuff out. Yeah.
In fact, we had people tonight who had seen me in Pakenham, which is like 15 minutes away from Garfield.
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. And they were like, I said, oh, sorry, you heard the same stuff. And they're like, oh, no, we loved it. We kind of forgot all those. It was hilarious 2 weeks ago.
Well, it's true, though.
But it is true.
Yeah, it's true. There'll be a hint of... There'll be some recognition, but they don't remember the punchlines.
Well, I remember going to comedy and seeing... One of the first comedy gigs I saw was Fleety at a comics comedy club.
Oh, yeah.
And he did a routine which was this. He said, He goes, I went to the footy the other day. I love going to the footy because people just yell at random shit. I yelled out, and so I like to yell at random shit as well, like even weirder. I like to yell at, go get 'em, pineapple. And then somebody next to me will yell out, yeah, go, pineapple. And then he goes, I like to think of them like driving home going, hang on a second. Pineapple doesn't play for North Melbourne.
That's right. That was a great routine.
I love. It was one of the jokes that made me fall in love with stand-up comedy, and I would go see him after, for years afterwards, and always, even when I started doing comedy, I'd go, mate, can you do Pineapple tonight?
He would forget routines,
and you take friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's like he's probably cloth or something like that. That's his joke that he probably forgot about. And,
I remember that joke. That's a great joke.
Pineapple.
Pineapple is a funny word too.
Yeah. Well, we all know how important those
funny words
choices are. Funny words, funny colours, funny numbers.
Anyway, here we are. Okay, well, thanks for coming on the podcast, Pete, and good luck with the future.
Are we heading to the tunnel?
We're going to the tunnel. I think you're right. Tunnel's coming up. Peter Hellier, ladies and gentlemen, there he is.
Thanks, guys.
There he is, live and go.
See you in Hobart.